Hello and welcome to the Handcycling Elf second edition of this tour of the Wirral. Today we're going to be going from Rendel Street in Birkenhead along Tower Road all the way to Dock Road and then from Dock Road to Duke Street, finishing up in Birkenhead Park. Pretty much this entire route is in segregated cycle lanes in some way, shape or form. You've got this on-road route on Rendel Street, you've got the tunnel entrance over on the right hand side there. And here is where it joins the Tower Road junction. This actually here on the left and on the right used to be a railway, and there used to be a railway bridge over to the left here that was knocked down, I think, about 10 years ago. For my viewers on the island of Ireland, this actually coming up on the right hand side is the ferry terminal that takes you over to Belfast, and there used to be a ferry to Dublin as well. And we're continuing along Tower Road here. This is a new cycleway that was completed in the pandemic in summer and autumn 2020. As well as this active travel way we're going along here, they've put in new offices, which you can see over on the left. Wirral Metropolitan College, just further up to the left, and also a new roadway. This carriageway used to be 2 lanes in both directions, now it's 1 lane, with the rest of the space used for improved walking and cycling connections. Over to your left there is the aforementioned Birkenhead Port, where many HGVs and oil tankers and whatnot set sail for Belfast. Coming up on your left here is what I think used to be a hydraulics tower. It's been left to go derelict over the years. Hopefully it's going to be renovated into a co-working and office space. It's a really, really cool building. This new bridge I think was put in, I want to say, about 10 or 15 years ago. This bridge here, I have seen it actually be lifted up a few times for ships to go under. Along this bridge there's actually quite a nice shared space cycleway, meaning you've not got to dodge any cars and it's quite easy to get across and it's quite wide as well. We're going to continue on the Dock Road cycleway here on the left. And then what you can see on the left here, all this land, this is eventually going to be new developments in a brand new community known as Wirral Waters, known as the East Float. They're building all these new apartments here. Not one of them is designed to be adapted for wheelchair users such as myself to live in. cycling along here. You've got new apartments that have just been put up. You've got an old warehouse there, which personally I think are absolutely stunning. They were redeveloped about 15 years ago. Until earlier this year, I used to have to cycle on the road, which is fine if there's no traffic, but if there's traffic, and usually there is, because you've got the port of Birkenhead behind with big HGVs and one thing and another, it could actually be quite dangerous. So actually, it's really, really good, but there is this new segregated walking and cycling route. You used to be going on this road, and there'd be you there on the hand cycle, there'd be a HGV behind you trying to overtake, and probably a HGV in front of you trying to make sure they had enough room to get past the HGV that was behind you. It could be an absolutely bonkers and really scary situation at times. This is a fantastic active mobility route, but actually it's really difficult to cross over here. There is no crossing point. Say I want to continue my cycle further up to the industrial estate, there's actually no way that I can do that without going to the Corporation Street roundabout, which we'll do in a minute, and then coming back on myself. Turning left here onto Duke Street. This was a new cycleway that's only just actually been finished. I think the cycleway was finished, I want to say, in July, August. And it's made such a difference, a real difference. And it's the little things with the cycleway that you notice. So yes, it's segregating traffic, but also there is a small segregation stopping cyclists from combining with pedestrians. It's a little rumble strip on the pavement, and you wouldn't notice it unless you went over it on your bike. But it's that kind of segregation that keeps cyclists and also all forms of pedestrians protected. And then coming up here to the Duke Street Bridge. This is quite an old bridge. It's also got quite a rickety walkway here, but it's safe to walk across, at least for the time being. Coming off Duke Street Bridge now, going on to a little bit of pavement before we go onto the cycleway. Got to move down the gears here and also look to the right at the same time, because when you're entering the roadway, yes, you are entering the roadway into a cycleway, but sometimes car users, motorists, also think it's their space as well. So you have to check that there's not a car user going to ram into you when you're going into the cycleway. And the cycleway is not segregated, but I will say the vast majority of people do respect at least this bit of the cycleway anyway. Coming up to the Corporation Street roundabout here. Now this junction, I will say, is a bit dangerous. You've got traffic coming from four sides, and you've really got to make the judgment as to when to go. Now we're going straight here It's a little bit more difficult, to be honest with you, if I'm trying to turn right, because if I'm trying to turn right, I've got to deal with the traffic on my left, and I've got to deal with the traffic coming straight ahead of me. But if we're just going straight, you've only really got to deal with the traffic coming from the left and the right. Crossing over into the main bit of Duke Street here. This is a little bit uphill, so I usually whack the assistance up here. Anybody who's from the Wirral will know happy hours buses. I think our schools used to take us on school trips and big trips to swimming baths and all that kind of thing. Well, happy hours bus depot is over here on the right. It's great to see the little signs and the little things like that, like the Birkenhead Brewery Company sign over here to the left on this old pub, which shows a deeper history and a deeper context to Birkenhead. Coming up to this point here, this is when part of it does start to get segregated. You actually got this quite nice segregation here, because you've got a space for cars to park, which everybody wants, local residents want especially, but then you've got the cycleway and the pedestrian way, and it's probably segregated and probably filtered, and means nobody's really going to come into contention with anybody else. There's never been a segregated cycleway coming up here, and I'll be honest with you, I find this bit a little bit dangerous, because you kind of got to come at it and you've got to come over to the right and then swing at it on my hand cycle, because otherwise if you go up it straight you become unbalanced and the hand cycle could tip over to the side, which is quite dangerous. To find a bit of Duke Street here, on the right hand side here you've got Birkenhead Park station, which is soon to be step free. It's soon to have a lift. The whole of the Mersey rail network is soon to be step free as well. There's no longer going to be the need for ramps to get on and off the trains. That's going to make a massive difference in terms of getting about. This bit of Duke Street where the shops are, usually there's cars here and you've got to kind of weave in and out between the cars, and that can be a bit dangerous, particularly with oncoming traffic and traffic behind you. But today actually was no cars, so it's actually quite perfect. I couldn't have planned it any better. We're going to continue our route here onto Ashfield Road. Over here on your left is the Wirral Centre for Blind and Partially Sighted People. Ashfield Road's great, but sometimes there's quite a few cars parked on it, and it's quite a road that cars like to go down at quite a pace, so that can be a bit dangerous, and you have to keep your wits about you, both for cars coming out on the left, but also with traffic coming behind you and in front of you as well. And then coming up here to the world famous Birkenhead Park, where today's journey ends. Thank you very much for watching this second journey of the Handcycling Elf, and I hope you'll join me for another adventure soon. Take care now. Bye bye.